Hey, hello, Munbalance, and today we've got quite the change of form here. I'm going to be focusing on Final Fantasy, at least for now. But I have quite a bit to do in this game today. Now, I know that the recording conventions for this game are a little different, so I think I'm supposed to cover my chat, and I can't think of a better way to cover it than with just like a random picture. So I'll just go ahead and pick any random image from my computer, and we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna just kind of put that up there. All right, I think that works. So that way people don't get their identity leaked on the internet. If someone doesn't like that, then they don't have to worry about their they don't have to worry about themselves being posted on the internet. So what are we doing today? Well, actually, I need to craft a bunch of stuff for the raid group. In my quest to get all of the scythes, there is going to be an ultimate scythe that we're going to have to eventually get, which means I'm going to have to get a lot better at this game, and obviously that comes with clearing content, and one of the best tools to help you clear content is consumables, such as the pumpkin potage here, which will increase our critical hit rate, as well as our health and determination. Now, I'm actually an Omnicrafter on this character, and I'm going to go ahead and be the one that brews the potions and foods for the raid group. And this will allow our raid group to clear enemies faster and just overall be a whole lot smoother. I also need to craft some gear for Rosa, who is switching to Warrior, so I will have to create some crafted gear for her, in which she can exchange for some higher end gear. But with that said, the program I use for this is actually called Teamcraft, and it's insanely useful. This is going to essentially give us all of the materials that we need. It shows us when the timed nodes are popped, and it also allows us to count all of the materials that we need to gather all of this stuff. It tells you what kind of pre-crafts you need, because certain things you'll have to craft things in order to make other things. So in this case, we need to make alkaheists in order to turn them into tinctures. So with that said, that's a whole thing that I gotta do, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go through this list and gather up all of this stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the stone hard water. Hopefully I can get it in time. Let's go ahead and switch to miner, and we can already see the node is up. Since we're gathering, I'm going to go ahead and use a Citeritis cookie. That's going to increase our harvesting stats and allow us to gather more items, essentially. And there it is. There's the legendary Rocky Outcrop. And I think the best option is Bountiful Yield, and that's going to let us get 3 waters per hit. And since this is a timed node, we want to be using our cooldowns for this. And just from that one node, we've gotten 18 stone hard water. Now we're going to need a total of 300. So the next time this node pops, we're going to come back here and get some more. The next timed node that we have for this craft is actually not necessarily a timed node. Like, there is a timed node, but there's actually also, you can also get it through fishing. So I'm going to be heading to Yeti Mat, and we're going to go to the waters over here. And in these waters, we're going to be able to catch a fish that we can turn in to moonlit Aether sand. And that's going to get us another ingredient that we need to craft these potions. Now, we're spearfishing here, and basically we're looking for a fast, long fish. That's not him, that's too big. It's going to be a medium fish, and it's going to be quite quick going through here. That's not him either. That isn't them either. And there is a real possibility that we just don't find him. Oh, there he is. Yep, it's a Guild Top Knot. That's the fish that we're looking for. And essentially what we could do is click on this fish, ethereal reduction it, and that's going to give us 4 moonlit Aether sand. This is actually really quite nice, because there's no timer for this, and we could just keep farming indefinitely until we have the 300 that we need. There is also timed nodes for this, but since we have other timed nodes, and honestly, the rest of the stuff that we need for this craft is just going to be in random, like common nodes here, where it's just a matter of finding the node and then clicking on it to get the item that we need. And this is, honestly, this is the boring part of the process. So I'm just gonna off camera farm all of this stuff, and we'll be back for the brewing process, because I think crafting in Final Fantasy is actually quite interesting and something I'd like to showcase. Now, crafting in Final Fantasy is oddly enough like a little puzzle game. What we're gonna do is we're going to craft some grade 6 strength alkahest. Now, the goal of a craft in Final Fantasy XIV is we want to make sure that the quality is 100% before we finish the craft outright. And you have a bunch of crafting skills. Essentially, you have just as much buttons as any other class would have, and they all do different things. They have different effects on the craft. And essentially what you want to do is figure out what is the best way to use the amount of crafting points that you have along with your stats, which are going to basically affect how much progress and quality is added with each skill. And in order to get an item of high quality, you're going to have to use a whole lot of creativity to figure out a way to get the quality to 100% before finishing the craft so that you get a high quality result. High quality results will be stronger in general. Weapons that are crafted high quality will be about 10% stronger. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. But potions will have less cooldown, and they are 2% better. So instead of giving you 8% of a stat, they give you 10% of a stat. So generally, high quality is what we want here. Now, you can figure out what exactly you need to do and then put it in a macro. So Final Fantasy actually has a macro system, and what you can do is set up a macro to give you exactly what skills you need in order to finish the craft. And this way, there is no worrying about messing up the craft. The only thing that can hurt you at this point is your ping. So if you have a bad connection, you can actually end up missing an input, and that will break the craft. But from what I've experienced, the human error is actually a whole lot more likely than the ping messing up your craft. You know, maybe if you're a bit more methodical than I am, then you might have a little bit more luck pushing the buttons yourself. But for me, I prefer not to have the chance to mess up the craft, especially when I'm crafting for other people here. So yeah, we're just gonna let the macro go, and it should get us to 100% quality. There it is. And we're gonna go ahead and finish that, and we've got high quality strength alkahest, which we're going to turn into strength potions, which are essentially like stat foods. They're gonna boost our strength by 8%, but you can see if I brew them high quality, they actually boost us by 10% strength. So they're actually quite a bit better, and their cooldown is lower too. So 4 minutes and 30 seconds as opposed to 5 minutes. Oh, there is also, you could also just look up what the optimal rotation is for a certain tier, especially on these masterwork items. These are genuinely pretty hard to craft at high quality with the basic gear, but generally people who are a whole lot better at this than I am will figure these things out on like day 1, and they'll be done like already. They'll already have 100% brew rate on day 1. It's kind of crazy, and you have to be really, really creative with your skill use. And in some cases, you might also need to use consumables that boost your crafting stats. But with that said, we're just basically going to brew up some potions for the squad, and these potions will be used for our raid day, which, as far as I know, is Friday. And if you want to come check it out, we're going to be streaming it on Twitch, so you can go ahead and check that out. But other than that, I think that'll do it for today's video. I don't want to extend it too long because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to be editing this video. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. A special thanks to Patreon supporters who keep the channel sponsorship free and have given me a whole lot of security in this crazy moment that we're in right now. But as for everybody, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.